Alrighty, hey guys, it's me again. I'm back for another Satisfactory Update 5 Let's Play! Okay, so, as you can see, we've made a lot of progress over the last, well, I guess it's been maybe a day or two, longer than a week now, but, yes, lots of progress has been made, so, I'm gonna try to catch you guys up today. Gosh, honestly, so much has happened, I'm gonna be struggling a little bit, but, big on the list. Gonna be showing you guys the building I've been doing, the aesthetic building, the walls, the ceilings, the windows, the roofs, the paths, the painting, signs, all that good stuff. I also want to show you guys my setup that I made to complete Phase 3. I would love to show you guys what I did with oil so far, as well as my plans with oil going forwards. My plan with trains, I actually got 4 train stations down. No trains actually running yet, but soon TM. And, lastly, I might go through a little bit of a, I don't know, sort of a tutorial on how I lay out my factory floors, as that is, something I've been really working on refining the design of. So, first things first, let's show you guys around the factory and just show you all of what we built and how it looks. Oh yeah, and also, if you didn't notice already, I rushed the hover pack. Yes, rushed it. Got it right away. It is super cool. Definitely recommend. I'm gonna show you guys what I did to rush the hover pack too. I think it was definitely worthwhile. Spoiler alert. Spent tickets to get it. Okay, so you'll remember like the tractor roads and such from the last Let's Play. None of that's really changed much. You know, like I said, we got lots of walls and ceilings and stuff going on. I've been spending a lot of time just you know, doing this sort of thing, you know. We got signs, we got ladders, we got doors, walkways, catwalks, lights. Oh man, I really hope it turns to nighttime so you guys can see some of the lights and stuff, man. Oh, they're so cool. Actually, in the live streams and the days going forwards, I'm gonna be spending a whole bunch of time hunting down alternate recipes, as I want to start, well, I need to start setting up fuel power. Our power is squeaking by. It's just squeaking by. So I'm planning on setting up a big turbo fuel generator thing, and yeah, that's going to be giving us the power we need to push through the nuclear and aluminum and all that. Okay, so welcome to the new and improved storage room. What do you think? Do you like it? We got lights, we got catwalks, we got double-stacked storage bins, signs and everything on them. It's a bit of a compact afterthought sort of design, but I really like it. I think it turned out excellent, and with any luck, this is going to be enough storage containers to last me till the end of the game. I really hope. I gotta be honest, I haven't calculated that, so just kind of living on a prayer over here. So soft clipping, like just been soft clipping the heck out of everything. Basically, the way I built these containers was I just grabbed some foundations, and placed them up like so. God, I loved that soft clipping, man. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be able to have done this without that. And so I used the foundations like that, and then just place the storage container like that. And then it was just a matter of throwing on the smart splitters. They just clip through the walls, you know. And Bob's your uncle. Super cool now to do building like this with the soft clipping. Like, it is an amazing, amazing quality of life, you know. In any of the previous updates, this... I'm not going to say this wouldn't be possible. Well, I don't know, actually. I feel like it may have not been. It may have not been. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how Update 4 would like this configuration, you know, with the one box sitting on top of the two. Maybe it'd be okay, maybe not. But you definitely wouldn't be able to build it just like I demonstrated. That wouldn't... Yeah, point being, doing crazy stuff like this, so much easier in Update 5. I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, now we've got like a huge mixed item belt just going back and forth across this whole thing. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how many smart splitters you need for this. Absolutely wild. And yes, definitely, guys, if you didn't watch the first Let's Play, give it a look. You can see all this in the early days. Make sure you get those smart splitters unlocked ASAP, man. It is so huge, so huge. So huge. We big time upgraded our coal. Basically done with coal power, so that's a finished build down there now. I mean, mostly, I might actually add some more energy storage. Might add some more energy storage to that. We'll see. We'll see. A couple more aesthetic details as well. But I'm not going to build any more coal generators, I don't think. I think that's, it's exactly the number of coal generators you need to use a Mark IV belt of coal. That's what that is down there. So we'll probably go look real quick at what we did with the Phase 3 factory. I've got this little mess up here. This is basically making the biomass, solid biofuel, and just as of yesterday, we added in an assembler and a storage bin for mycelia, so we're making fabric now, getting ready for those gas masks. I've also got the start of our Nobelisk setup underneath our train stations as well. I'll have to show you guys that. This is all very work in progress. This is another huge abuse of the soft clearance. It's my stacked spaghetti. This is the mixed item belt coming into storage. It goes and makes its final join here, and that's what inputs into our storage. This is the final exit belt from storage, and this is what goes straight to the sink. So basically, just before the sink, we have a couple of last-minute exits. One of them's for wood, the other one's for leaves. We've got one for flowers, and now our last one for mycelia. So that way we can just nip all those off the line, craft them into what we need them to craft into, and then just throw them back out onto the mixed item line. It actually worked out really good to have like the final route to the sink here, as well as the input like before it's even hit the storage here. So that way I can, you know, take the leaves off here, or take the flowers off here even, make the color cartridges, and then send them back into storage. Like, it actually, if you just look at these parts, it's a super simple but amazingly effective you know, way to get things like color cartridges. You can do this for biomass, biofuel, gas masks. It's incredibly convenient. I love this. I might actually go into more detail on this later too, especially if you guys want a little sneak peek at oil down there. Okay, anyways, what we did for Phase 3, because Phase 3, boy howdy, What a doozy, man. It takes a serious step up from Phase 2. So here we are. The Space Elevator Factory. So everything that we're using to make the Phase 3 objects, they're all up in there. They're all up in there. It's a big old room just packed to the brim with 4 manufacturers per floor. And there's 2 floors, so 8 manufacturers total. So this is our adaptive control units. And then the floor below, we've got our modular engines. I haven't quite gotten these guys to running at peak efficiency yet. It's something I'm working on. Gonna need to get that power sorted first. I've sort of been all over the place deciding on the projects I should be doing. Oh, been a mess. The setup for these manufacturers, you know, belt-wise, very, very simple, eh? Just using the stacked splitters. I'm gonna go through this when we look at factory layout. We'll do that. We'll do that just right after this, actually, I imagine. The cool thing about doing the stacked splitters is you can exit on the left and right, so we can get a manufacturer there and there. So very, very compact design. Like, for this floor size, we've fit a lot of manufacturers, eh? So it's 8 by... It's not 8 by 8, is it? No, 8 by 7 even. 8 by 7. Honestly, probably would have been better as an 8 by 8. Probably would have been better as an 8 by 8. But look at that, 8 by 7, and, you know, it's kind of jammy, but not too jammy. We can definitely still fit some good walkways and stuff in there, so... Yeah, a little bit proud of this design. I mean, you know, it's not anything too fancy, but I really do like the way it turned out. Got the big full-frame windows. Oh, yeah, those big full-frame windows, man. They are excellent. Got some derpy trucks out there, derping around. Yeah, the trucks have been really, really good. We've gotten our vehicle count up to 5. We got 3 tractors and 2 full-size trucks running around out there, handling all the things. So yeah, we completed Phase 3 a little while ago. So we still have all that stuff crafting. It's just putting directly into the sink right now. Definitely recommend in this update keeping up maximum production at all times. Just get those tickets, get those coupons. It's how you get all these super cool buildable items, you know? Gotta have them. Gotta have them, guys. You can see our big collection of all these. This is just jammed up since the mission's complete. We have an overflow belt that's taken all those parts to the sink as well. So, a real quick look. The coolest thing about finishing Phase 3, it's the second last space elevator mission in the game currently, and it unlocks the final tiers 7 and 8. So, if you have done anything similar to what I have, once you finish Phase 3, you should have automated already computers, heavy modular frames, motors, as well as, you know, rubber, plastic, and all that. All those tier 5, 6 items, you know, you should have those all automated. And if you do, the only thing that stands between you and the hover pack it's 200 alclad aluminum sheets. So you have two options at this point, the way I see it. Option one, you can just unlock bauxite refinement and start making alclad aluminum sheets. It's a bit of a process, you know, aluminum ingots and aluminum sheets and aluminum casings. They're basically just like, you know, steel pipes, steel beams, or iron plates, or iron rods, or copper sheets, or wire, or whatever, you know. It's, they're a main ingot resource, but they are by far the hardest ingot to make. Like, to even make an aluminum ingot, you need, like, a ton of stuff. The ingot itself is made out of silica and scrap. The scrap is made out of solution and coal. The solution is made out of bauxite and water. So you're talking, like, several refineries and, a foundry and an assembler with all the materials to even just start making aluminum sheets. You could do it pretty quick and dirty, like at a bauxite node, you know, you could hammer out some sheets fairly easily if you were so inclined to do so. Or you could take the route that I did. And my route was, this is something I've never really done before, something I always talked against doing, but I actually bought the parts right out of the Awesome Shop. You can buy a stack of aluminum sheets, like 100 aluminum sheets for 2 coupons. So what I did was I bought 300 aluminum sheets, used 200 to unlock the hover pack, and then 40 to build it. It was easy peasy, and now we've got a hover pack for the rest of the game. And seeing as the hover pack only requires electricity to run, I think it was a worthy sacrifice. Cost me 6 tickets in total to get it. So yeah, really, really happy with that. That was actually something chat pointed out to me and got me to do, but love it. It's the best. So good. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy to have the hover pack this early. It makes building and designing and touring around the factory so much easier, so much better, so much more clean. It's just awesome. Just love it. Love it so much. It's fantastic. So, I think one of the things I'd love to go through here, this has been a hot topic in the streams and just in general for Satisfactory. I kind of want to show you guys my layout and design with my factories, my factory floors, right? So if you look at this place, it's a huge, big, you know, collection of buildings. Each one of them has their own little factory inside. So you can see up here, this factory here, this is our computer factory. You're looking at everything that it needs to make computers right from scratch. Basically, for input, all we've got is copper ores and caterium ingots. The ingots get made into quick wire back here. The copper gets made into ingots there. Those ingots are turned to sheets. Those sheets are combined with plastic, which we're running out of. Making circuit boards. And then the circuit boards are finally combined with the quick wire we made earlier and some rubber we're bringing in with the plastic to make those beautiful caterium computers. All built out to the perfect ratio, aside from maybe not producing enough plastic. And yeah, it's pretty awesome, pretty legit setup. Loving it so far, loving it so far. I've been doing a mixed belt, bringing in the plastic and the rubber, you might notice there. Definitely not 100% of an efficient system, still kind of working on that. That's kind of That's kind of a working progress. So if we look at our other factories, you can see very similar design, method, etc. Over here, rotors, same thing, right? For rotors, it's even more simple. We just have one input of iron ore. That iron ore going to 4 smelters. Those 4 smelters going to 7 constructors. 4 of those constructors going to an additional 5 constructors. And then the remaining 3 constructors going straight to the 2 assemblers to make rotors. This is all vanilla recipes, and it's all perfectly balanced. Air quotation marks around perfectly balanced. So, just real quick, I'm gonna just try to, like, fire this out super fast. Again, like I said in my previous video, you know, if you guys ever have any additional questions, if you feel like something I showed wasn't, like... If you want a closer look at anything, guys, feel free to, let me know. Leave me a comment or something, eh? But yeah, I'm just gonna give this a real quick. So let's pretend like I'm gonna set up more rotors. Basically, the rotors, they're directly beneath us. We were just in there, and beneath these rotors are more rotors. So my method for making more rotors is just more and more and more floors, and we're just gonna go up and up and up and up and up and up. Gotta watch out for you, Mothra. So, no matter where I am or what I'm making, my process is basically the same. So, nice big floor foundations, big enough that you can fit all your machines in. This varies depending on what you're setting up, you know. Some things like rotors are quite small, other things like heavy mod frames can be quite large. So, make sure you have enough space, right? And if you don't have enough space, make more. There's always space somewhere. You just gotta find it, you know? Just gotta find it. So once you've got your space, you've got your nice open field of foundations, I always like to start with a splitter. They always put it one layer in. This way we leave an empty foundation on the outside to transport, right? Especially before you get the hover pack, and you build really tight factories, it can get kind of jammy, kind of hard to get through, makes transportation a little bit of an issue. So to help alleviate that, I like leaving this border so you can have a nice area to walk through. It does take up a little more space this way, so it's not essential that you do that, but I do find it helps. You know, easy transportation saves you a lot of grief. So we're making rotors. I already know how many assemblers I can fit in here and how many constructors and whatever I need for it, but let's pretend like you don't know that, because if you're setting this up for the first time, you might not know that. You might need to figure that out, and no problem, it's easy to do. It's easy to do. So we are going to make some rotors up here. So we're going to just make as many rotors up here as we can, right? We're going to just try to squeeze in as many rotors as possible. So for one rotor assembler, you're going to need 20 rods per minute and 100 screws per minute. So we know we're going to need rods. We know we're going to need screws. We're starting with iron ore. So obviously that's going to have to be smelted. So I like to put the smelter just right up there next to the splitter. This smelter will make 30 ingots per minute. The next thing we are going to need is rods, as we know from our recipe check over there. Oh, and what's this? Rods only take 15. Well, that means this one smelter can handle 2 constructors perfectly. So just slam a little splitter right there. I do like to try to, like, squeeze these things together, you know. As much as I like leaving space for transport, it's also important, I think, to not waste too much space either. Gotta choose. Gotta choose where you're gonna waste it and choose where you're gonna save it. So typically, you'd place constructors as such. This is the most efficient way to place constructors, right side by side. Weirdos like me will notice, though, during operation, they'll actually clip. They'll clip at the arms. So sometimes I like to actually leave a couple notches of space between them so they don't clip each other. Now, if I got to the end of my floor here and I needed more constructors, I would definitely squeeze them together if it was required. So, we know that this is all maxed out. This is what I like to call a perfect build. This smelter will provide these 2 constructors and no more. So if we want more iron rod constructors, we're gonna give them a new smelter. And this is where the building really starts to get easy, right? Because now you've got your line of smelters, so you can line them up super easy. And you've got your line of constructors, so you know where those are going too. And you can just keep on building off that, you know? So, screws. Screws is what we're after. Screws is what we need. What do we need to make screws, guys? We need 10 rods. What are these making? These are making 15 rods. So, that's an awkward split. That's an awkward split. That means that one of these constructors could supply one of these constructors with 5 left over, which could feed another half constructor of screws. Not very convenient. Not very convenient at all. 2 of these making 30 rods, that could feed 3 screw constructors, no problem. So, since we need 2 constructors to feed 3 constructors, in my mind, there's only one super easy way to make this happen. You merge these 2 rod constructors together, and then you split them. So this way, all the rods you make from those 2 constructors will get into these 3. Now with this system, this is a small, but it is technically a manifold. So there will be a small fill-up phase. What I mean is this constructor and this constructor will make their rods. They'll all output, and this machine is gonna take 15 rods per minute, because that's how this splitter is gonna handle that, right? It's receiving 30 from this merger, and it's gonna send 15 here and 15 there. Now that's only temporary though. This constructor will only take 15 until it's full. After it's full, it'll naturally slow down because it's only consuming 10 per minute. At which point, the 10 will continue on here as long as the screws are making, and the rest will go on, it'll fill up the next machine, and so forth. So you have this little fill-up phase that you need to, you know, observe. Oh, and look at that. These are making at 40 per minute. I had to delete the assembler to get it out of our way, but let's throw it back down to check our recipe again. Oh yeah, 100 screws, 3 constructors. Well, that means we're making more than enough screws. So we will obviously want to merge all these screws together. So we'll just put these mergers down here. There, we can just put this guy like right there. And it looks like we're gonna have a lot of room. Just looking forwards a bit, I think we can fit more than one rod assembler in here. So with that being the case, since I know I'm making 120 screws here, and one assembler only needs 100 screws, we're gonna have to split those screws. Those screws could not quite supply 2 assemblers, but almost. So we're gonna have a splitter there, very similar to what we did back here. And then we're gonna place our assembler. So this will be going back to what I was trying to show you guys at the manufacturers in the space elevator factory. Usually, I'd place constructors just like this. But for an assembler, I like to take an extra step. The extra step is a lift. And that lift is very important. It's very, very important. It gives you enough space so that we can stack a second splitter here and attach it to the assembler like this. Note that there is currently a glitch in the game, and this did not hook up. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the snap sound, right? And then when you place there, you don't hear that snap sound? You don't hear the snap sound, it's not snapped. See how the attacher bit here is, you know, stretched? It looks firmly attached. Look at this one here. Not so much, eh? And you can hear, listen again. You can hear that there is snap points in there. So what you need to do is place an extra belt. You're not supposed to have to do that. This lift should snap straight to the assembler. It's just some bug in the current version that should be gone soon, TM. But yes, anyways, look, there you go. So that is effectively almost all of what you need to make one assembler's worth of rotors. In fact, you technically don't even need that additional. Well, these 30 rods will make this 120 screws no problem. The only thing now is you need the iron rods. But you know what? As I was saying earlier, this is a big floor. All we need is another 2 constructors for rods. So I'm gonna say that we can do two assemblers worth of rotors. So let's plan for that instead of 1. So we have 120 screws being made at 80 per constructor. If I just make, oh, quick resource run. Ooh, this is awkward. Alright, we'll just pretend like that didn't happen, guys. So since we know we're gonna need 200 screws for the 2 assemblers, and we're already making 120 screws per minute, and we're making 40 per constructor, another 2 constructors will be another 80 screws, and guess what? That's exactly perfect. That is the exact number of screws that we need. So that is beautiful. Not all the time does this happen in Satisfactory, but there is usually a golden ratio, if you would. So it is worthwhile to look at your recipes, and because, you know, with one rotor assembler, there is a slight leftover, which could be good if you want some for storage. But with 2 assemblers, the ratio is perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. Just a nice little note you might want to keep in mind. Okay, so since these guys are using 10 rods per minute, we got 5 of them. 5 times 10, 50, obviously. We are making these guys in batches of 15. So if we make 4 of these guys, we'll make 60 rods, which is a little extra, but better a little extra than not enough. Just continue attaching the belts. It's important to keep your belt speed in mind too, right? Since I'm making 60 rods, Mark 1 will do all the way down. Since we're making 200 screws though, you're actually gonna need the Mark 3 belt. So I'd only even recommend attempting this setup after you've got the Mark 3 belt. Beforehand, it's probably better to just stick with one rotor assembler and use a Mark II belt to feed the 100 per minute. Don't forget these little belts in between your splitters. Ooh, don't forget your smelter too. You're gonna need a smelter for every 2 rod constructors. Make sure you place everything well. Alright, there you go. So that's 2 assemblers. It's all the screws we need. So there's just one last thing we need, though. There's one last thing we need. These assemblers, they take 2 inputs. So they take screws and rods. So funny enough, we've got some leftover rods. We've got about 10 rods per minute left over. We're going to need 20 per machine, so a total of 40. So since we're making rods at 15 per minute, if we make an extra 2 constructors, that'll make us another 30 rods. And if we take that remainder of 10, that is actually the perfect amount. So this is where the design kind of goes, like, you could do this a few ways. So you could take this extra 30 rods and jam it onto this line, making the total 90 rods per minute, and then just taking the overflow from here and around to your assemblers. This would be best done with a smart splitter, so that way your screws get first dibs. Otherwise, your screws might starve a little bit while the assemblers fill up with rods. Alternatively, you could make these rods their own line, and then merge the extra over here. Again, this is probably best done with a smart splitter, but honestly, a regular splitter would be fine. You're just gonna have to let the assemblers fill up with rods before you get your full speed on this last constructor. Then it's just a simple matter of bringing that belt over. And there you have it. Just super simple. That'll do it. That'll do it right there. That's all you need for rotors. And this is a totally scalable build too. You know, you can just keep repeating it and continuing it and making more and more and more for however many rotors you need. And keeping in mind too, this is all done with the vanilla recipes. Using alternate recipes, you could make a much more efficient setup. In fact, you could even overclock this all. You could overclock it all as long as you can keep up with the belt speed. Make it produce twice as many rotors. All kinds of stuff. You can even see, so I'm hoping now that you guys have seen the construction of the build, it makes a good bit of sense to you. So hopefully if I show you down here, you can kind of see how I've modified the layout a bit to make it fit a bit better, right? So actually down here, I did something a little funny in that I made the 60 rods, consuming 50 of them for the screws, and then I made another 45 rods to provide the 40 there. So this is technically overbuilt a bit, which for me isn't a problem. I don't sweat those little bits of overbuild. Again, I'd rather a little bit over than under. And yeah, nice and compact. It's really good. In fact, I've gotten the cast screw recipe now, so I could take out all of these constructors and replace them with cast screw constructors. They're gonna make the screws just out of ingots, and I only need 2 of them to supply an assembler. So I could take these 5 constructors out, change these 4 constructors, or change 4 of these constructors to cast screws, and still make enough for the assemblers. Oh, look, and it only uses 12.5 ingots too, so you'd save on ingots. Like, could make a whole new, more efficient setup with that cast screw recipe. So with this method, you can make all kinds of great, simple, but effective setups. And it's super nice too, because you just have to worry about the one input, right? You just input 1 belt of iron ore to feed your smelters, and you just output 1 belt of rotors as your final product. So this whole factory is only going to just have 1 belt out and 1 belt in. My favorite way to design, and you can do this works for every single item from tier 1 to tier 6, like ease peas, no problems. I say until tier 6 only because once you start getting into late tier 6 and definitely tier 7 and 8, the complexity of the materials starts really ramping up, and the setups required are much more advanced. Like, you need much more materials in. They just get a lot more complicated. Like, if we look at computers is one of the last, you know, air quotes, simple setups. Sorry, excuse me, coffee there. Getting cold on me. Can't have that. And for inputs, look already how crazy we're getting for inputs. So we've got an input of Caterium ingots, we've got an input of copper ore, and we've also got an input for plastic and rubber. Our output still just being computers, but you have to put a lot more into it. Now, computers is pretty good. You don't need that much more actual machinery. You know, I make the plastic and rubber off-site. Always recommend making plastic and rubber at your oil. It just... transporting liquids is not a good time for anyone. And then you have your Caterium. You could smelt your Caterium on site. That's honestly not a big deal. It's just a couple more smelters. Just a couple more smelters there. And this is using an alternate recipe for computers too. The vanilla recipe for computers is, well, it's a skip in my books. I would definitely recommend looking into the alternates for computers. The screws, the cable. You can see here, basically, all we're making on site are the circuit boards and then the wire. So that's pretty easy to do. For the regular computers, you've got to make those circuit boards, so you still have to have this. Then you've got to make the cable, which is going to be like the quick wire, except you need another row of constructors. Plus, you also have to make screws, and like a lot of them too. So, it makes a much larger setup. Now, you do cut out the Caterium, so you don't need to bring that anymore. You could also cut out the rubber. You could just do it with straight plastic, which is kind of cool. So you gotta bring in copper, iron, and plastic. But it's a lot more machines to set it all up, so... I mean, it's still doable. It's still doable, don't get me wrong, but... I found the Caterium computers to be much easier. Much easier to do. Take you guys right over to heavy mod frames as well. That's probably one of my most chunky setups. Ooh, yeah, look, the nighttime too, so you get to see a little bit of our nighttime floodlights. I've been advised that the floodlights will eat your frame rate, so keep that in mind if you're gonna use them. I've really been just going ham with them though. You can see in here, Heavy Mod Frame Factory, we got them everywhere. Yeah, the lights are super easy as well. You just gotta unlock them. That's the main thing. But placing them, I just skip a foundation. And then just daisy chain them. Lights are like one of the only things you can daisy chain. You can do that for the power storage as well. Hook them up to a light control box. Again, super easy. Just, you know, power from a power pole into the main power for the lights control panel. And then the light bulb power goes up to your first floodlight. And then the floodlights are just daisy chained together. This lets you be able to control them all from one central location. And you know, some of the lights, like these ones, you have to control them at the light controller. Like, there is no option otherwise. So yeah, heavy modular frames, one of the more complicated things to set up. So this is the manufacturer, and behind we have all the supporting machinery. As you can see, it's a lot. So believe it or not, super easy, just one input, iron. I've actually input iron from 2 nodes. Basically, one iron node does the sheets. Iron sheets, they are super iron hungry. Like, it's 1-to-1 for the smelters, so they are just really expensive for iron. And then we have our second node of iron coming up here to make the rods and screws. Lots and lots and lots of screws. So believe it or not, you know, I know this might look intimidating and whatever, but this is built just like the rotors, you know, you just figure it out constructor by constructor, frame by frame, you know, it's really not that bad. And then once you figure out the ratio, it's easy to expand, right? My limitation came from the plates and the screws. I just didn't have any more space to grow out. It is enough to supply the one manufacturer, though. It is, it is. So yeah, if you build like that, even setups like this will be easy peasy. I believe I touched on this on a recent video, and by recent video, I mean episode 1, the last episode. This factory is a little extra fancy because we have the collections belt. It looks a little crazy, but again, promise, it's dead simple. All the end of the line, which is all these machines here, for each item type, we just have an overflow splitter. So left goes the mod frames for crafting, you know, all kinds of different things they do. And then this side is overflow. And we do that for our mod frames, our heavy mod frames. We got steel overflow coming through here, reinforced plates, rods, screws, etc., etc. And that just goes for our storage. So yeah, easy, simple, effective. Look at this guy, man. He's even running. Look at that. 100% efficiency, eh? Not bad, not bad. Not too bad at all. This is a little extra mess we have going on here. So this is the primary exit for the space elevator. Heavy mod frames would be end of the line, except for the space elevator stuff. So, this is one of our transit belts. It exits the heavy modular frame factory, passes by the rotor factory, and then comes on through motors. That's where we're making motors right there. This is all like extra space elevator stuff, basically. And yeah, it just creeps right in, right over, and up it goes. Up it goes. This is actually a hilarious example of one of my mixed belts. So I primarily started this belt that we followed for the smart plating. Brings over the reinforced iron plates. But we also shoved the heavy mod frames on here because we needed them over here too, and we just sorted all via smart splitter. You'll notice a lot of this stuff is not optimal, not optimal at all. Still working on the efficiency of all that. I will get it done. We'll just continue to scale our heavy mod frame production until it happens. But before I can do that, I need to get my power sorted out. So we're kind of in a awkward growing stage right now, but it'll get there. It'll get there. The belt will be able to handle the throughput. It should be awesome. Should be awesome. Wow, guys, 54 minutes already. Holy moly. Okay, I'll take you guys for a quick look through oil and coal, and I guess we'll be basically calling it a wrap. So I hope that was fun and informative for you guys. Hope you enjoy seeing the factory go and grow. And, yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm loving Update 5, going through the save game and everything. It's been just absolutely awesome, amazing, super good. Can't wait to continue on all of this, and, yeah, I hope to see you guys coming back to watch some more. Make sure you leave us some thumbs up, some comments. And, yeah, don't miss out for episode 3, man. We'll be going over all the things that we didn't get to in this video. Just have a really simple producing rubber and plastic. We have all the byproduct being turned into residual fuel. Little bit of petroleum coke still. And then we're using that fuel for power. But first, packaged fuel. Come up with these nifty little priority bumps in the pipeline, so the fuel will go to the packager first, and then only when there's enough extra will it push through the bump and go on. You can see how we've done that over here with our heavy oil residue. See, it's empty. Empty. Yeah, see, look at that. Isn't that cool? So, like, this guy is getting 100%, and this guy is getting, like, barely any. Neat, right? Yeah, simple, but effective. Give you guys a neat little look over. The train station, you can see, hopefully we'll have that actually running for the next video too. Our fuel power area as well. Built these hyper tubes, they're nice. It's very nice. So this heavy work in progress. Take it easy on me, but here's what we got so far. For our train line. I'm thinking of probably double stacking these stations on top of each other, so we can get more and more trains through. Did a sneaky little factory beneath for our Nobelisc and rifle cartridges. Gonna need them. Gotta get out there and hunting those alternate recipes. Okay, well, again, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in about a week for another episode, and, yeah, if you think I left anything out, if there's anything you'd like to see more of, let me know. Let me know down below, guys. Alright. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.